Hey guys, welcome back to another Alli Crafts video. Sticking to the spirit of Halloween and the budget-friendly concept of a dollar store wreath, I'm going to show you another amazing Halloween wreath you can easily craft in just a couple of hours and for only 11 bucks. With the matching seasonal craft items carried by the Dollar Tree, you truly have limitless opportunities for multiple wreath ideas. If my last wreath didn't suit you, stay tuned to see how this wreath turns out. First thing you're going to need is a 14-inch wreath round. I get the smaller one so I don't need as many products. Next 3 items are going to be Deco mesh. I chose black, purple, and then I couldn't find orange, so I got the black and orange with a gold in the middle kind of a thing. Then you're going to need some mesh tube. I call it Deco tube as well, but it's actually called mesh tube in 2 separate colors. Then what you're going to need is a beautiful sign for the center. I always choose something that's extra glittery and glitzy and glamorous because I just like glitter way too much. And then the last item you're gonna need are 2 feet. I couldn't find a left and a right, so I ended up just getting 2 right feet, and I think it turned out pretty well, but I would have preferred a left and a right foot. The supplies you're going to need: a pair of scissors. Scissors are great for most of the project, but also wire cutters. A rotary cutter works really well for cutting the deco mesh. It's a lot faster. And a glue gun. You're gonna need that for pumpkins. Some pipe cleaners that I forgot to mention, but only 18, and these were left over from my last project. I chose green pipe cleaners because I'm putting the green mesh tube bows on top of the orange mesh tube bows, and I wanted the pipe cleaners to match the mesh tube bows on top. First, we're going to wrap 18 green pipe cleaners evenly spaced around 2 wires as tight as possible. Then we're going to cut the deco mesh in 9-inch long strips. This is where the rotary blade really comes in handy. It was definitely worth the $14 investment. Now what we're going to do is separate all of the deco mesh into a pile that fits your work area. I only could separate about 1/3 at a time because the deco mesh is wild and had a mind of its own. Just roll each color into a tube and pinch it in the center. Wrap your pipe cleaner around it, and remember to wrap your pipe cleaner in the same direction for the duration of your project. You don't want your work coming undone. Now it's time for the mesh tube bows. I chose orange first because I wanted green on top since it's the most contrasting color. I really felt like the mesh tube bows made the wreath, which is why I chose 2 different colors. Here, I just wanted to show you in normal time how I made the mesh tube bows, just in case you didn't see the last video. But I made sure that I was very liberal whenever I was wrapping them, and I did it about the size of my hand. The reason I wanted them to be quite large was because I felt that the wreath was pretty sparse, and these bows really filled it in beautifully. And I just want to remind you, when placing your mesh bows, make sure you place them perpendicular to the item you place below it. So for the orange mesh bows, I placed them perpendicular to the direction of the 3 deco mesh rolls, and I'm placing the green mesh bows perpendicular to the orange mesh bows. Make sure you pull it nice and tight when doing your final twist, and then snip off the edges with scissors or wire cutters, leaving about 1/4 of an inch to fold it down so nobody pokes themselves. Now you can pull your bows a little bit to separate them so they look extra nice. I wanted to show you my entire process, so I just did a quick time lapse of me finishing up the bows and snipping the ends before we got into placing the center sign and gluing it to the mesh tube and deco mesh where it overlapped. One tip I can definitely give is to glue your sign on before placing your feet on the back. I had to move my feet because I put them on first and they didn't quite line up with where my center sign ended up. And again, in case you didn't see the last video, I just wanted to show you in normal time how I put the feet on the back. I used zip ties, but you can definitely use pipe cleaners. The reason I chose to use zip ties was because I knew that I was going to be picking my wreath up by the feet, and I wanted them to be nice and sturdy and not move when I picked them up, and I felt that zip ties were a bit stronger than the pipe cleaners were, based off of how you can tighten the zip ties, and I didn't feel like I could get that same tightness with the pipe cleaners. You can either go through 1 piece of metal or 2 pieces of metal whenever you are threading your zip ties through and then attaching the frame to the feet. Just be sure before you go and snip off the ends of your zip ties that you make sure that they are nice and tight. And same with the pipe cleaners, before you snip off the ends, make sure you pull them and wiggle your feet around a little bit to make sure that they don't move and that they are nice and tight. Then go ahead and snip the ends off. Now it's time to place your sign. Just make sure that you glue it in very well, because remember, the wreath will probably be on a door and it will be moving and open and close throughout the day. And lastly, I wanted to show you an optional addition for your wreath, but certainly not required. I had these pumpkins left over from another wreath and decided I didn't want them to go to waste. Also, the fact that they're literally coated in glitter really pushed my choice to add them to the wreath. I like the contrast of the magenta against the orange and felt like just a little more, although isn't always better. In this case, it suited the wreath well. Just make sure to be very liberal with your glue so the pumpkins stay attached throughout the years. And keeping in the theme of leftovers, do not be afraid to use your leftovers and experiment. So because the Deco tubing was not glued in, I knew that I had this purple left over and I kind of wanted to add a bit more purple to the wreath because I felt like the green and the orange was very strong and overpowering. So I decided to try adding it too and see how it looked. And it ended up looking really, really great. It wasn't too difficult to put in, even though I snipped off the ends of the pipe cleaner, and I got it in there, and I'm really, really happy that I chose to use these leftovers. When I pull my hand away, you can see the contrast of the green pipe cleaner against the purple, and although it's not bad, I hope that this helps you in deciding what color pipe cleaner you want to use based off of the color of the mesh tubing that you are going to use on the very top of your wreath. And now your wreath is complete. Aw, come on, puppy. Take two. Now the wreath is complete and you have an amazing budget-friendly Dollar Tree wreath that not only is a showstopper, but something you can be proud of to show off. When your family and friends find out you made this, just know you may have a few requests. Don't be afraid to make one with a variation of colors I chose or different signs from my last two. You can add less than me or however much more, just do whatever your heart desires. I really hope this video inspired you and now you feel like you can conquer a wreath no matter your skill or level of creativity. If you like this video and want to see more like it, don't forget to subscribe and please give it a thumbs up.